So many of us, as we get older, we start to think that games are less fun. Either games in general, just the market on the whole, has gotten less fun over the years, or we're just not cut out for gaming anymore, or our ability to have fun with games has changed. This is something I've struggled with, as I'm now 30 years old somehow. I've been doing YouTube for half my life. I've been playing games since I was 9 months old. Now that I'm far into adulthood and a father of my own, well, I'm not a father of myself, a father of my own child. A father myself, I guess is the wording that I was supposed to use there. I really struggle to play games anymore. Like, the amount of games I play in a given year often doesn't even compare to what I would typically play in like a summer or even a month some years when I was in high school or even college. And that's caused a lot of like struggle within myself. It's caused a lot of like introspection of me being kind of worried. Like, is something wrong with me? Why don't I enjoy games anymore? Have I changed? Maybe Christmas changes too, you know, the whole thing. And yes, all of those things are true. Like, the issue of these kinds of discussions is that it's never one thing. Like, yes, gaming as a landscape, as an industry, the trends, the tactics, all of that has changed. The games we play today are made differently than they were when I was a kid. Yes, I have also changed. I've grown, I've matured. The way I spend my time is different. The things I look forward to are different. But also, the big thing for me that I think everyone leaves out is your priorities change. And I think sometimes it's mentioned, but it's just like, oh yeah, you just don't want to play games anymore. You're not a kid, dude. It's not even necessarily that. It's more, at least for me, what I have discovered very recently is that as I am older, as I have so many more responsibilities, and even separate from the responsibility talk, I just have so many things that I want or need to do in a given day. Whether it's work, you know, my work is also my hobby, you know, all the things involved in there. Whether it's watching a show with my wife, or playing a specific kind of game with my wife for us time, or letting my kid play Minecraft, or exploring my art and my self-expression, or just kind of relaxing, or doing chores, yard work, gardening, anything that I'd rather be doing, as an adult starts to take priority over gaming. I still want to play games. I still look at my backlog and hope I get through it one day. I still look at my wall of games and, you know, there's so many that I can pick out right now that eventually I want to play. It's, but the struggle is then that I sit down and play, and either I just play multiplayer because it's easy to hop in and hop out, or I don't play or want to play these specific games that keep building up in my backlog. The issue is prioritization. It's, I no longer have the room, the space, the time, the mindset to play games that don't give me like 100%. Games that don't make me the absolute happiest, that are the most enjoyable, that I'm easiest to adapt to. I just don't have the room for it. It doesn't mean I don't enjoy playing games. It doesn't mean I'm not a gamer. It doesn't mean that games aren't fun anymore. It just means I have to be a little bit more picky and choosy about what games I spend my time on. I can still have a blast with games just like when I was a kid today. It's just not with every single game I play. And part of that is getting older. Like, you don't see new stuff as often anymore. Every game is not some brand new mind-blowing experience. You've seen it all after a certain point. But a lot of it is also just when I had unlimited free time, when I didn't have more priorities pulling at my head. And I know ADHD plays a factor in this, but it's not everything. But when I don't have all that demanding me, it was a lot easier to drudge through a game that wasn't my most favorite, or to put, you know, those cliche games of once you get 100 hours or so in, it's like the best thing ever. I don't put 100 hours into most games I play. When I was a teenager, a kid, whatever, it was a lot easier to do that and to deal with that, especially because I only had a few games, so even if it wasn't my favorite, I was playing it. But now it is so much harder to stick with the game, even if I want to play the sequel, or I know it gets better after a certain point. It is a lot harder to bother when I have so much other things that I could better be spending my time with. A personal example, my wife and I got really excited to finally sit down and play through the Assassin's Creed franchise. I'd played 1, 2, Brotherhood, and Black Flag when I was younger. I played the heck out of 1. I had a girlfriend that played the heck out of Brotherhood and Revelations. I have fond memories of the franchise, and I was very excited for many of the new ones, like Valhalla and Odyssey and Mirage, and they're just coming out with a samurai one or whatever. I was very excited for these, and so I was stoked. We were like, yeah, we're going to play through Assassin's Creed. It took us an entire year of just kind of hacking away at it a couple hours at a time. We're 50 to 75% of the way through the game, and we realized that we just don't like it. I don't like it as much as I remembered as a kid. The missions are all super repetitive. I don't care about the political intrigue of it because it's all boring. They're selfish, rich a-holes that I don't care that much about. We weren't having a good time, which is why we kept struggling to come back to it. Now, for me, both having committed to play this with my wife and gaming with my wife is something very special to me, and it being a childhood franchise of mine that I really, or teenagerhood, that I really wanted to get through so I could play the later games because I wanted to play them in order, I guess. This was disappointing and honestly a hard moment because I was like, well, crap, do I just really not have the capacity for like serious gaming anymore? We switched games. I finally popped in Mass Effect Legendary Edition on the Xbox One. We started playing that. My wife is a huge fan of Mass Effect. It's probably their favorite franchise overall. I played a fair bit of 1 back in the day on 360 and then never got around to the sequels. I think I played a tiny bit of 2, but I don't think I really did. But I definitely played like a quarter at least of 1. I remember enjoying the hell out of it. I've always been attracted to the scene. I've always loved the idea of the games. I knew I'd love them. I just never got around to it. We turned off Assassin's Creed when we realized, like, hey, this just isn't fun. Why are we bothering? That was a hard moment to swallow and accept. But then we popped in Mass Effect. And over the past week and a half, well, over the past month, I put 34 hours into Mass Effect 1 and almost 100% in it. Like, I beat the game, but I almost did every single possible little side quest and collectible because I was enjoying it that much. And I'm now, like, almost halfway through Mass Effect 2. It's moving a lot quicker. Like, I'm at the point where it switched to disc 2. So I don't think it's necessarily halfway through the story, but, you know, I'm a good way in. And I've been having a blast with it. And nothing changed about me or the time at which we play or any of my mindset other than it was a lot more fun of a game. It gave me that 100% that I needed in my head to truly enjoy it. And thus, I actively want to spend my time with it. Whereas Assassin's Creed felt like a slug, felt like it just wasn't fun and we were getting through it just to get through it. And if it was going to feel like that, trying to get through the like 3 Italy games that are all the same character and similar structure was just not going to be possible. Nevertheless, the other like 8 Assassin's Creed games. So if you're really beating your head against the wall trying to play through a couple games and you're just thinking that gaming isn't for you anymore, consider just finding another one that you, and this seems super obvious, but like another one that you've been really wanting to play or something. Or if you've just been really not having fun with multiplayer these days, my buddy BBK Dragoon's kind of gone through this. I've gone through this. I think a lot of people are going through this at the moment. Multiplayer gaming is in a pretty gnarly state. If you're not having fun with it, go try some cool single-player games you thought you'd enjoy. I bet you'll lose a lot of time into it without realizing. It's not about getting older and moving on beyond games. It's not 100% about games getting worse over time, although all of these things are factors. It's about you have less room in your life, in your space, in your time, in your head to spend on games, and you need to better prioritize the games that go all the way for you rather than ones that are just meh feeling. And what game resonates with you is going to be completely unique to you, but you'll be able to find it, and I bet you'll be able to enjoy it again. I'm Addy. This has been Liminal Musings here on Lost Saves. I hope you have a great weekend. We just got the Crash Team Racing video restored, so this channel is back in good standing. Go check that out if you missed it. Remember to be kind, rewind.